Hello, 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 and welcome back, everybody, to the Stockton Esports Reinvented Podcast. This is going to be episode 5 with your host. My name is Kevin Gualberti, otherwise known as Kev Dog. I'm the public relations manager, and today, once again, I am joined by my friend Kyle Crane. Kyle, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Nice start to my day at 3 o'clock. Just chilling. Happy to be here with these fine gentlemen in front of me.
And the fine gentlemen in front of us are none other than two of our players and also the GM of the Valorant squad, Jason, the game manager for Valorant, and then one of the captains, PJ. Both of you guys are joining us today. How you doing, Jason?
Oh, hello. I'm doing pretty all right. Happy to be here. It's a little exciting.
It's good to hear. PJ, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I get to talk about Valorant. That's my favorite pastime, if you can't tell.
We love Valorant around here.
We love Valorant.
Well, on this day, currently, we are actually recording on a Tuesday, and that is going to be the day that Valorant plays. So if you are looking for some more Valorant content, make sure to stop by twitch.tv/Stockton Esports every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m., about that area of time. You'll be able to see some great Valorant action. But you two, I just want to get into the first question real quick. Can you just describe how your journey has been going into the collegiate Valorant scene and what kind of motivated you to pursue it? Like, how'd you get started? How'd you get involved and everything like that?
Well, I've played video games all my life. Ever since I've known the English language, I've been on a mouse and keyboard. And I started out with Counter-Strike way back in the day. And then, I grinded Counter-Strike for a couple of years, got really good at it. And then Valorant came around. I was like, oh, shoot, this seems like it'll be fun. So I went from CS to Valorant, and then I was grinding Valorant. And then once I was getting ready to college, I just realized that we had an esports team, we had a Valorant team, and I've always wanted to play on a team. I've had 5 stacks, with friends and stuff where we quote unquote played on a team, we scrimmed against other people, but it wasn't like a serious kind of thing on a collegiate team, So I just wanted to take the opportunity to see how far I could take it.
PJ, same question to you.
Yeah, so my journey, I also played games since I was little, but I started a lot on PlayStation. And one game that I played with a lot of my friends that really got me into like esports in general is Rainbow Six Siege. I played Tier 2 Rainbow Six Siege, or Tier 3, almost Tier 2, for years. And it was something that I really fell in love with. I was a support player in an IGL, but the main issue is that was during COVID, and when things started to lighten up, I was thrown an ultimatum from my parents, either work a full-time job or go to school. And I always planned on going to Stockton. In high school, I actually played with, I think he's alumni now, with one of the Stockton players for an Apex Legends tournament back in 2019, something like that. It was a CSL. It's when Maple Dark and Large won that show tournament for Rocket League. There's actually a picture of me somewhere with everybody, but I don't know where that's at. And so with that decision, I couldn't pursue Rainbow Six Siege the same way I wanted to, with classes and homework and wanting to pursue music in college, that it just wasn't in the cards. So I looked at what Stockton offered, and I saw that they offered Valorant, and I played a little bit in the beta, a little bit here and there, but I never really fully stepped on the gas. So seeing that was the esport for me here at Stockton, decided to go all in.
All right, moving on to the next question. As students on a collegiate team, obviously, we practice, we scrim with other schools, and we also have to maintain the balance with academics. Do you have any strategies for balancing your academics, and is it really challenging to balance academics with the competitive gaming? I'll go with Jason first.
I can't lie. Personally, I do struggle a lot with balancing academics because I also do research for the school, so I'm an RA. So a lot of my time is spent doing schoolwork and stuff like that, and I work 25-30 hours a week as well, and it's really hard to find a balance. But what I've realized is that you want to do your gaming stuff at night and then do everything else in the morning and midday. You want to try, because most people are going to be online at night anyways for gaming, so it's just best to grind it out in the morning to midday, and then leave the night to gaming, and then try to fall asleep at a decent time, maintain a good sleep schedule, and have a set routine, see if like you guys like as a team kind of like have set practices, and I feel like if you just get a routine going, it'll be a lot easier to balance it out.
Same question for you, PJ.
Yeah, I agree with the routine part. As another student worker here at Stockton University, it is difficult. I do work night shifts at the info desk, if anybody would like to visit me from time to time. But it is a little difficult handling everything together, making sure that your grades are up. However, we do, as the varsity Valorant team, and I know Jason does as the manager for Valorant, we push grades above everything. Like, we wanted to practice last night, but a bunch of people had a bunch of homework to do, some essays to write. We said, we're taking Monday off, get your work done. Like, there's no excuse for slacking at all. So to counter what Jason said, not counter, but like to go alongside, I don't start playing anything, like personal practice, ranked, anything like that, until after all my work is done, right? Like, it's tough because sometimes you have to write like 2 papers in a day, sometimes 5 pages each, stuff like that. As a history major, it's difficult, but you don't want to get behind at all, because if you get behind, it really does impact not only your mental playing your game because you're thinking about all the work, but also like you need to maintain academics in order to pursue esports. So there's no reason to sacrifice one for the other, because no matter what, you have to get both done at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you're talking about all these different challenging aspects as well. I kind of want to move it a little bit away from the academic side, because although it's a very important part, you're also the captain of the Valorant squad, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Or the IGL.
I was captain last semester. I handed it to our new IGL, who I kind of co-IGL with. He's more or less taken the reins fully, comedic Will. However, he does a lot of planning on his free time, but I know that he does not sacrifice his own academics, his own personal stuff. He's really big into sports. He watches a lot of sports. We all talk about it. Even in our Discord, we were talking about the games last night. Even as someone who tries to work along Will with making calls, figuring things out during the game, preparation is a big thing, right? Like, week 1, we had literally counters to every play they had. We knew exactly what they were going to do on their pistol round. We knew exactly what they were going to do for their mid rounds, what their defaults looks like. And we were going in pretty confident until ECAC was like, hey, those kids dropped out. And we kind of got it turned around on us, and it wasn't a pretty sight. But we do a lot of preparation. We prepared for last week's team a little bit. We prepared for the second week's team. This week, not so much, but I don't think they have a lot to go off of. They are a little lower than the other team that we played, so it's not that big of a deal. But preparation-wise does take a lot of time.
Gotcha. And what's been the most challenging aspect of being that collegiate Valorant player? Has it been balancing your academics, or has it been something else?
In my experience, it's the academics. If you've dealt with this stuff through high school, whether it was sports or music or whatever extracurriculars you did, it's kind of still the same way. At least I commute. I'm not here all the time on campus, so it's a little different for me from some other people. However, like, the biggest thing really is working as a team, because I know this is an issue that a lot of people have, and sometimes there's a wrench into things, but it's a lot of who does what, when does what, and it really can get confusing sometimes, and everybody being on the same page, because you do have limited time. This isn't like you're with a team, you're set up for like 3 months, you practice, and then all of a sudden you're getting thrown into a tournament. Like, we have 2 weeks, like, the core is still together. However, our old duelist Alex stepped down just because of personal stuff with classes and stuff like that to really focus on his grades. So we're implementing a new player. Therefore, the duelist steps away, so we have to find someone else to step in. We're seeing who can step up to that role, map dependent, what's going on with that. And then it's also like who can play what, because a big thing about collegiate Valorant is you want to play into the metas, but not everybody can play agents within that meta. Right, and it's a comfort thing at the same time of figuring everything out. But that is one of the things as a collegiate player that's like hard to struggle with, is like figuring out how to balance the team itself, and then if you have good time management, that's really like the only big thing.
Okay, good, solid. Next question is for you, Jason. You started hosting open coaching to anyone in the Stockton Valorant and into the Stockton Esports server, I want to say, how did you become involved with coaching, and what inspired you to take the role to coach?
So I used to coach for Counter-Strike way back in the day. I mean, I was a young little kid. I mean, half the time they don't even take me seriously, but like I really like enjoy like going fully in depth with the game and trying to get people better at the game. Right? Like I really like I want to create a community where the higher you load people, the higher skilled people help bring up the lower skilled people. So it overall develops like the program into like, it could be like something pretty big, you know, like we can be I'm not saying it could be like the next Fisher or something, but you know, like we could start developing like these really good players. And I feel like coaching is like a big aspect in that, because you can only go so far without a coach, you know. You always want, there's always something you can do better, and if somebody can point that out to you, you'll just become a better player. And I enjoy studying the game and helping people get better. So
yeah, and having those mentors can always help you as well, just grow and have more memorable moments than you ever think you would ever have before. And so actually moving on to the next question about memorable moments, I want to ask both of you guys real quick. Could you just share some memorable moments from your collegiate career here at Stockton Esports, regardless if that was at a team environment or if it was a solo victory?
I can't. Last semester, when we first got streamed by Esports U, where we had that, it was a very, very close match. You know, the first match, we destroyed them, and then the second match they destroyed us. But then the third match, it was like very even, and then we started to fall behind at the end, but then we came back all the way and won. I think it was like 13-11 on the third map, and I just remember like all 5 of us in the lab, like how hyped we were and stuff like that. Like it's a really good energy to be around. So
now, PJ, send the same question to you.
Yeah, situations like that have always been fun times. I got like 2 more. Another really memorable moment was the Gold v Blue that we do here at Stockton University. I remember we had, I'm seeing Kevin make some faces at a good boy Jason over here. It's the Gold v Blue event, and I was in a 1v2. I clipped it too. I love this. I was against actually Jason here and another player, Shard. I hit a random wall bang, and then I run out and pre-fire Jason, and it was kind of like a wait. Did that just really happen? Because, like, the wall bang was just completely random. I shot a wall, killed the first guy, ran out, fried Jason in this 1v2. So, like, seeing everybody at Gold v Blue just, like, stand up and hype me up right there, that was a good memory. But another big one has been all my interviews that I've done for esports. After some of these eSport U victories, I've gotten the pleasure to talk with some of the casters, get interviewed. Some of them a little goofy, I won't lie. I was asked what's my favorite animal combination, as if it was Avatar: The Last Airbender. However, it's great people. It's great to talk about your team, what's going on, your big wins. And then at one point, I was interviewed for College Esports Now, or whatever the show is. I don't think it ever got put into an episode, but it was something I did get on my own time. I was DM'd about it from some of the esports use people. So it's always been good to talk about it. As much as I do like myself as a player, I also do like to push my personality, and I feel like a lot of us on Stockton Valorant have some pretty fun personalities. You know, I like to watch my favorite streamer, _Jason. That's always a great time. But I feel like we all have good personalities, right? Like, anybody who's really met us really knows who we are, how much we just love, like, having fun, screwing about, and stuff like that. So any chance that I can really show off my personality, not just me playing the game, is always a good moment for me.
That's great to hear. We always love to see, like, everyone having their own individual shining moments around here. Like, personally, last week I had the opportunity to play in the EMLS Amateur Cup and won that. That was pretty fun. But moving on from myself, this is a question for the both of you, by the way. How has being a part of a collegiate esports team impacted your personal growth and skills?
So being a part of a collegiate team, I played a lot of sports in high school. I played football and I wrestled, so like I knew what it was like to be in a team environment. But an esports environment is a lot different than a sports environment. Like not everybody is on the same page sometimes, and like PJ said, like it's a little difficult to get on the same page sometimes. But yeah, no, I mean like, sorry.
No, you're all right. Don't worry about that. Like, being in a team environment and always being able to go to your teammates if something's wrong, being able to create those communication skills and up your team chemistry as well, and just create those bonds that will most likely last a lifetime. It's something that's very important. And PJ, I want to send the same question to you real quick: is what skills and personal growth have you has been an impact on you since joining the collegiate program?
I mean, it's always been fun playing esports. I've been in esports for years now, playing Counter-Strike and Rainbow Six Siege. But I think the biggest impact is truly the relationships that you build, because as much as you truly like your teammates through your online teams and stuff like that, I've never met anybody through Rainbow Six Siege. There are people that I've known for years, but I've never physically met. And so especially what we do with Valorant is we all meet up and play together every Tuesday for our ECAC games. It's really fun. Just to be able to be with each other, to be able to fist bump, to be able to like look at each other after like a hype moment, after a clutch, to be able to stand up and everybody's around you supporting you. It's really, I don't want to say touching, but it is a really good feeling knowing that like your teammates have your back. As much as sometimes, you can bicker, you can disagree, we really do want to win at the end of the day. So if like, for example, Jason had this big like 1v2 last week, and we all stand up and started screaming like, "Let's go, Jason!" And so it's a good feeling. Like we played pool together one night after a win last semester and stuff like that. We try to see we see each other around campus. We say what's up. We try to see what we can do, like not exactly esports related. If we could do like team bonding and stuff like that. And so I think that's the biggest takeaway from Impact is that it's like your teammates aren't just usernames. Like, for example, like we don't go by comedic, strat, Srio. We go by our names, so it's different. But like we know Ian, Dylan, Will, Somnus is Alex, right? Like we go by names, and that's one thing that like I think that was accidental because Frank didn't put the usernames when he first put in the Valorant application. But like I think it like cuts off like a barrier, because I think some people they'll look at a username and be like, well, it's just a username. But now that we connect it with someone else and we know who they are, I think it really brings us like closer together because we're not like, hey, Strat. Like, no, we know Ian, right? We know Dylan. We know Will, right? And I think that's a really important thing.
Yeah, and to kind of add on to that, at the end of the day, we're not just teammates. We're brothers as well. Like we've been through the rough patches. We've been through the good patches. It's all about having fun at the end of the day and creating hopefully lifelong bonds with each other. So it's very very fun.
So you guys were talking about the on-campus life, hanging out around campus, stuff like that. Question for the both of you again. Have you faced any specific challenges or stereotypes related to being a gamer in a campus environment, and how have you addressed them if you've had any?
I mean, no, I can't say I've ever gotten any negative feedback about me being on the esports team. If they ask them, I tell them, they're like, oh, that's cool, blah blah blah. I don't really get any negative energy, but I do know that there are some people that they're like, oh, this guy's this guy's that. It's very unfortunate to see, but yeah, I mean personally I haven't, but I know there's a stigma out there that's not really, it's not good. At the end of the day, we're all humans, so it'd be nice if people treated each other as humans as well. We're doing something we enjoy. It's if we were making fun of you for doing something you enjoyed,
Yeah, in my experience, it's been very much the same. In high school, it was a little more oh, why do you do these things? But I think because Stockton really pushes esports and has made it more normalized, I feel like it's been less of a deal.
right? Like, people know about the Rocket League team and all their accomplishments and stuff like that. So when I go, hey, yeah, I do esports, it's not, oh, you do esports? It's like, oh, that's cool, right? And everybody I've talked to that I've met, like, outside of high school and stuff like that, because I do hang out with a lot of my old friends, they would never tell that I do esports. And I feel like that's the thing, that if you don't say you do esports or gaming and stuff like that, like, and then you, like, if they don't think it right away and then you tell them, like, they can't judge you for any reason, right? And so it's like, I've had some people make comments about certain players and situations, and it always breaks my heart to have to defend them, because I do believe that, like, they're doing what they love at the end of the day. Like, I wouldn't make fun of someone if they played a certain instrument or did something a certain way. But I feel like, for the most part, at least being a part of the Valorant team and being a part of, like, Stockton Esports, no one's looked at me different. I've had plenty of, like, new friends and stuff like that I've, oh, you know, I play varsity Valorant, you know, I plan on going back, hopefully making the team again before, you know, the roster is made again. And everybody's been, oh, that's cool, or, hey, I know someone who's in it. You know, it's been more or less like a lot of friends made through it, rather than, like, it being a derogatory thing.
And hearing that it's been more of a positive interaction going from that, I actually want to ask you just a question for the people listening at home, or anyone that could take something away from this podcast. And I really just want to know is, do you have any advice for any aspiring collegiate players, regardless if it's Valorant or any other game? And do you have any advice when they're looking to balance their education, their competitive gaming, and also just a life in general, having that life-work balance outside of the esports scene, outside of the collegiate academic scene, just to have a good time while pursuing a higher education as well?
Yeah, if you want to do something, do it. That's the biggest thing that's really driven me so far. You know, in high school, I did get a lot of weird looks. I would VOD review right in the middle of class for Rainbow Six Siege. So, like, I didn't care. But a lot of people did judge me. I had a friend stop talking to me entirely, calling me names because of how I pursued esports. You know, I've had people really look down on me for the things I like to do. However, it is a passion of mine. And if you're truly passionate about anything, whether it's esports, music, acting, Stockton and any other college on the face of the earth will have something, whether it's an organization for it, a club for it, or even other people. If you really enjoy something, you can go find it and make it happen. You know, for me, it was esports. At the same time, as Kevin knows, I play music. I'm a bass player and I play a little guitar. And I've made tons of friends through the music clubs here, right? And it's, if you really want to do something, especially as a college student, do your absolute best to do it and don't let anybody else tell you, like, not to do it, because it's not their life to live, it's yours. And with that being said, with the work-life balance of everything, if you're really truly committed to something, you're going to have to give up things in life. I've realized that. It's tough to think about it that way, especially being so young and wanting to do everything. But if you really are dedicated to getting better as a player, getting better as a musician, getting better as an actor, there's things you have to do on your own. I spent a lot of time practicing certain setups, certain ways things can work, watching a lot of film, watching other people's film, just for esports alone. And that's outside of me being a musician and learning new songs, practicing with other people, listening to music, and experiencing tons of new things. So there will be sacrifice for some things. You will not be able to make everything, right? Like, I'm not a party person, but even if I was, I wouldn't be able to go to every party here at Stockton. You know, you're going to have to find your sacrifices. However, if it's something that you really want to do, no matter what it is, as long as you make time for that and you don't give up the important part of college, which is your education, I feel like there isn't anything holding you back.
Those are some really great words, some really great advice from UPJ. Yeah, really good things going on, and I absolutely agree with everything you said on maintaining that work-life balance. There are some sacrifices you have to make. I can tell you the countless amount of nights I've spent pulling all-nighters, doing stuff for esports, my fraternity, classes, and so on. But yeah, that's some really solid advice and really true advice too. Moving on to you, Jason. We talked about your coaching sessions earlier. Take a little deeper dive on that real quick. Can you describe your coaching philosophy and approach when working with the players that you coach?
So I'm a hands-off coach. You know, I'm not gonna micromanage everything that you do in the coaching session, right? Because I feel like there are fundamentals in the game, and if you don't know the fundamentals, then you can't really get better mechanics, better this. You need to have good fundamentals before you work on the smaller things, right? So I make sure they know their util, like what agents are good, what agents are bad, what agents do they even really want to play, like what fits their play style, and then once they get like the fundamentals and what they want to play down, then I'm like, okay, we can develop like an aim train, or like, you need to practice on like your crosshair placement, or like just game sense, like game sense I feel like is a thing that you can only learn yourself. Somebody can't teach you game sense. You gain your game sense from actually playing the game. So that's why I tell my guys all the time, I'm like, you're not going to get better overnight. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a long time, and you're going to have to put in the time if you want to genuinely get better. Because, at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want as long as you put the time into it. If you spend an hour every day trying to get better at Valorant, I can guarantee you the difference from now to a year, it'll be insane. You'll be like, that was me a year ago. Like, it's all about, it's a delicate process. It's not something that can happen. I mean, obviously, like, there's some people that are like, they're fast learners, they can do this, but most of the time, like, true development, it takes a long time. So I tell them, don't give up, and just like, take your time. Take your time.
And both of you guys have some great advice, some great words all throughout this podcast today. And I want to say thank you guys so much for that. And Kyle, do you have anything else to say?
Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for sharing your words. You guys have just been spitting straight up facts this entire podcast.
But yeah, so that's going to be the end of this podcast. Jason, PJ, thank you guys so much for joining me. Me and Kyle had an excellent time. And do you have any last words that you want to say to the viewers?
We love Valorant.
We love Valorant. But on a serious note, do your best to really chase what you're passionate in. I know I said it before, but if it's something you want to do, make sure you can do it and get it done. I feel like everybody holds back at least at some point in their life, and I don't want anybody to live with regrets. From whether like the Stockton Valorant team, I know we're happy doing our thing, trying to do our best to win games. We have a game tonight. Fingers crossed. We 2-13-0s. Make it quick. Get out of there. But jokes aside, chase what you want to do, and also come support Stockton Esports. We love Valorant.
Yes.
And that is going to be it. If you take anything away from this podcast, take away the advice Jason and PJ give you guys, because they are two of the strongest people. Willpower, mind power, just mental health. They have been some of the best people to go to for support. So if you are in Stockton Esports and you do need someone to be there, reach out. That is going to be one of the biggest things. You are not alone. But that is going to be it for this podcast. Thank you everyone for listening, viewing, subscribing if you subscribed on YouTube, if you're listening to us on YouTube. But that is going to be it from me and Kyle. Kyle, any last words?
Go Ospreys. Beat they ass tonight.
Yeah.
Woo! So thank you everybody so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.